So how does an extremist find his or her balance?
By first going to the root of where is this need for extremism coming from. I think it's very important to ask yourself, why do I have this need for extremism? Is it because when I'm extremist, I get a lot of attention, and that is what I crave? When I'm an extremist, I get attention, and maybe it is love that I'm seeking from everyone. When I'm an extremist, there can be many things.
Right.
So you should ask yourself that, why am I an extremist first? I was just speaking to somebody before you, and the same thing came up, and I was just saying that we have all answers within. If we just become quiet for a minute, and if we just be with ourselves, and after that 2-minute silence, and when I say silence, I mean quiet outside and quiet inside, when the mind is not very loud in that moment, when the chatter is not very vigorous, in that moment when you ask yourself a question, you always get an answer. Always.
And in that moment, how will we know that this is cause with this, having said all of this, I have self-belief issues as well. So every time I get something, even whether it's right or wrong, that doesn't matter. What matters is am I thinking the right thing? Will I be able to make the right choices? Or I get stuck in that. That, is this right? Is this, because I'm so cautious now. When you get more and more aware, you start becoming more cautious, more aware.
So to that, I will only say one thing to you. Stop taking the pressure of taking the right decision. Stop taking that pressure. Not every decision has to be right.
Yeah.
Whether your decision is right or your decision is wrong, it needs to be your decision. Everybody on this planet never made the right decisions and reached where they reached. Everybody reached where they reached by sometimes taking right decisions and sometimes taking wrong decisions. Again, this right and wrong is so relative.
We should be 100% sure कि ठीक है चाहे
No, you'll never be 100% sure. How can you be 100% sure? When there are two equal and opposite options and both have their pros and cons, you can never be 100% sure. You can be okay, 70% this, 30% this, and you may go with the 70%.
Yeah.
Right, but it's not 100%. Yeah, there are some things in life which are 100 and 0. Then there is no conflict only. Yeah. Conflict is only when it's not 100 and 0. Conflict is when it is 60 and 40 or 50 and 50 or 70 and 30. That's when conflict comes. Right. So in those moments, take your decision.
What the gut says.
Yes.
And if you doubt your gut also then?
Even then.
Witness
doubting your gut.
Yeah.
Don't indulge in it. That's also a need for drama. Because you want to doubt everything, because until and unless you doubt everything, how will the chaos in my life that reigns and makes me who I am, how will that succeed? It's not like you have this alone. A lot of people, have this need for chaos and drama in their lives. It's becoming far more prevalent than many years ago, because circumstances and how technology is advancing with every 5 years, and a lot of things have changed in the last 100 years. Human beings have been here for thousands and thousands of years, but what has changed in the last 100 years is unfathomable. It is 10 times more than what has changed in the last 10,000 years in terms of how we live and how we interact and how we travel and how we the phones and internet and electricity, telephone, refrigerator, electricity. Just imagine, no electricity, no mobile, no telephone, none of those things, no internet. So as these changes happen, some kind of it will have some effect to our inner self.
Yeah.
It will these external forces will make us frantic. When there was no phone, you were with yourself, and you were with yourself till you went to meet someone. Now there is no concept of being with yourself.
Yeah.
Because even when you're with yourself, you're on your social media, you're on texts, you're on call, you're never with yourself. So, and hence all the more need to counter this external environment, to be with yourself. All the more need to be with yourself, to counter all these external changes that have happened in the last 100 years of humanity.